Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimakung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 5, Section 1 of Jane Eyre, an Autobiography.
As.
Jane Eyre, an Autobiography. Brontë. Chapter 5, Section 1. 5 o'clock had hardly struck on the morning of the 19th of January. The rest. I had risen half an hour before her entrance, and had washed my face, and put on my clothes by the light of a half-moon just setting, whose rays streamed through the narrow window near my crib. At 6 a.m. Bessie was the only person yet risen. She had lit a fire in the nursery, where she now proceeded to make my breakfast. Few children can eat when excited with the thoughts of a journey. What could I see. Bread she had prepared for me. I wrapped up some biscuits in a paper and put them into my bag. Then she helped me on with my pelisse and bonnet, and wrapping herself in a shawl, she and I left the nursery. As we passed my sweet's bedroom, she said no. Bessie, she came to my crib last night when you were gone, down to supper, and said I need not disturb her in the morning, or my cousins either, and she told me to remember that she had always been my best friend. Why did you say nothing? I covered my face with the bedclothes. That was wrong, it was. Quite right, Bessie. Not be my friend, oh Miss Jane. Goodbye to Gate Sheet, cried I as we passed through the hall and went out at the front door. Was set and it was very dark. Bessie carried a lantern, like Gladstone with steps and gravel road. Sudden by a recent thaw, and chill was the winter morning drive. There was a light in the porter's lodge when we reached it. We found the porter's wife just kindling her fire at my trunk. Had been carried down the evening before, stood corded at the door. Wanted but a few minutes of 6, and shortly after that hour had struck. The distant roll of wheels announced the coming coach, door and watched. Its lamps approached rapidly through the gloom. Asked the porter's wife, "What alone?" "Why, I wonder, Meister, at top laden with passengers." The guard and coachman loudly urged haste was hoisted up. I was taken from Bessie's neck with kisses. "Be sure and take good care of her," cried she to the guard, as he lifted me into the inside. I was then, sir, the door was latched to. A voice exclaimed, "All right," and we drove. This was I severed from Bessie and Gate Sheet, this world away to unknown, and, as I then deemed, remote and mysterious regions. Little of the journey, a preternatural lane throughout. We passed through several towns, and in one the coach stopped, the horses were taken. I alighted to dine. I was carried into an inn, me to have some dinner, but as I had no appetite, left me in an immense room with a fireplace at each end pendant from the ceiling, filled with musical instruments. Here I walked about for a long time, very strange and mortally apprehensive of someone coming in and kidnapping me, for I believed in kidnappers, their exploits having frequently figured in Bessie's Fireside Chronicles. At last the guard returned coach. My protector mounted his own seat, sounded his hollow horn, away we rattled over the stony street of Eyre, somewhat misty as it waned into dusk. Were getting very far indeed from Gate Sheet. We ceased to pass through towns. The country changed. Great grey hills heaved up round the horizon deepened. We descended a valley dark with wood. Had overclouded the prospect. I heard a wild wind rushing amongst trees. The sound. I at last dropped asleep. The sensation of mush and awoke. Me, the coach door was open, person like a servant was standing at it by the light of the lamps. She asked. I answered yes. And was then lifted out, handed down, and the coach instantly drove. Well, I was stiff with long sitting, and bewildered with the noise and motion of the coach, gathering my faculties. I looked about me. Rain, wind, and darkness filled the air. Nevertheless, it through this door I passed with my new guide, locked it. Behind her, spread forth many windows and lights burning in some. Broad pebbly paths splashing wet, and were admitted at a door. The servant led me through a passage into a room with a fire. She left me alone. I still wound my numb fingers over the blaze. Then I looked round. There was no candle. The hearth showed. By inches, papered walls, carpet, curtains. Mahogany furniture. It was a parlour, drawing room at gate cheap, but comfortable enough. Subject of a picture on the wall when the door opened, individual carrying a light entered, another followed close behind. Lady with dark hair, dark eyes, and a pale and large forehead. Her figure was partly enveloped in a shawl, her countenance was grave, bearing erect. The child is very young to be sent alone, said she. Her candle down on the table. To them further added, Teo. Had better be put to bed soon, looks tired. Are you tired? She asked, placing her hand on my shoulder. A little, and hungry too, no doubt, before she goes to bed, miss. Mother, have left your parents to come to school, had no parents. She inquired how long they had been dead, old I was. What was my name, whether I could read right. As. So a little, then she touched my cheek gently with her finger, and saying with Miss Miller, the lady I had left might be about 29, who went with me, appeared some years younger, voice looked. And Miss Miller was more ordinary complexion, though vicar in countenance, hurried in gait and action, one who had always a multiplicity of tasks on hand, as she looked, indeed. What I afterwards found she really was, an under-teacher. By her, I passed from compartment to compartment, from passage to passage. Large and irregular building till pervaded that portion of the house. We had traverse of many voices, and presently entered a wide, long room, deal tables, two at each end, of candles, and seated all around on benches, every age from 9 or 10 to 20. Of the dupes there numbered to me appeared countless, exceeding 80. They were uniformly dressed in brown stiff frocks of quaint fashion and long holland pinafores. It was our study. Conning over their tomorrow's task, combined result of their whispered repetitions. Bench. Near the door she cried out. Monitors, photo goals arose. From different tables round, gathered the books and removed them. Command. Monitors, the tall girls went out and returned presently at tray with portions of something, I knew not what, arranged thereon, and the pitcher of water and mug in the middle of each. The portions were handed round. Those who liked could draught of the water, the mug being common to all. When it came to my turn, I drank, for I was thirsty, but did not touch the food, excitement and fatigue rendering me incapable of eating. I now saw, however, that it was a thin oaten cake, shared into fragments. The meal over, were read by Miss Miller, and the classes filed off into upstairs, overpoured. By this time, with weariness of a place the bedroom was, except that, like the schoolroom, so it was very long. Tonight, I was to be Miss Miller's bedfellow. She helped me to undress of beds, each of which was quickly filled with 2 occupants. Minutes the light was extinguished, asleep. The night passed rapidly. I was too tired even to dream, only once woke to hear the wind in. Furious gusts fell in turns by my side. One eye again. Unclosed my eyes, ringing, the girls were up and dressing, done. An Irish light or two burned in the room. Reluctantly. It was bitter cold for shivering, and washed when there was a basin at liberty, not occur soon, as there was but one basin. To 6 sculls, the steps down the middle of the room. In. The bell rang, formed in file, 2 and 2, and entered. Cold and dimly lit schoolroom, Miller, afterwards she called out. A great tumult succeeded for some minutes, which Miss Miller repeatedly exclaimed. Silence and order. When it subsided, them all drawn up in 4 semicircles. The 4 chairs, 4 tables, all held books in their hands. And a great book like a Bible lay on each table before the vacant seat. Pause of some seconds succeeded. Filled up by the low numbers, Miss Lowe walked from class to class, hushing this indefinite sound. Distant bell tinkled. Immediately 3 ladies entered the room. Table and took her seat. Miss Miller assumed the 4th vacant chair was that nearest the door. Assembled to this inferior class, I was called of it. Business now began. The day's collect was repeated. Of scripture recited the Bible, which lasted an hour. By the time that exercise was terminated, they had fully donned. The indefatigable bell now sounded for the 4th time. The classes were marshalled and marched into another room to breakfast. I was to behold a prospect of getting something to eat. Nearly sick from inanition, having taken so little the day before. A great loose, gloomy room. Something hot, which, however, to my dismay, far from inviting. The repast met the nostrils of those destined to swallow it. Of the procession, the tall goals of the first class words. Disgusting silence, ejaculated a voice, not that of Miss Miller. One of the upper teachers, a little and dark personage, smartly dressed, but of somewhat morose aspect, who installed herself at the top of one table, while a more buxom lady presided at the other. For her I had first seen the night before. She was not visible. Miss Miller occupied the foot of the table where I sat, and a strange, foreign-looking elderly lady, the French teacher, as afterwards found, took the corresponding seat at the other board. Hymns sung, then a servant brought in some tea for the teachers. To be continued.